Okay, let's get started. I'm going to make this double Z fold card. Alrighty, and I'm going to show you how now. So we've got our stamp set of choice, which is hand pen petals and the pen flower dies to match. I like to do this so that I can see what's in there at a glance in my drawer. I've already put my things on blocks. You'll be surprised how easy this is. I've got half a sheet of designer series paper in my choice. That was one full piece of A4 Highland Heather cardstock, and I've already cut up my bits of Whisper White, and there's my envelope because I like to do it at the same time. So I'll just finish cutting up my Highland Heather. We need one piece that's exactly half of an A4 sheet, which is cut lengthways. Bring in our stamp trimmer, and for this small panel, we're going to use our trimmer. We're going to cut it to size, which is 24.7. Now I've converted the sizes to centimeters, which is why they're not like overly rounded off, for want of a better word. So that one is 24.7, and then we're going to go this way by 7.6. You can tweak the sizes to whatever you feel like doing, but this is what I've made so far, and this is what I know works for me. Oops, don't want to score it yet. Okay, now I love the score tool on the new trimmer. Okay, so we're going to need to score these to create our Z. Both of them are going to get scored at 14.9 because that's half of our A4 piece. I'll just move my ink out of the way here. I'll apologise in advance if I get my head in it, but you've got to have it right and hold your tongue right and do all that sort of stuff. I was saying to my class ladies the other night, I do have a tendency to take my blade out when I'm scoring because I'm really good at cutting. So hopefully we won't do that. So give that a score. And then we're going to pull it along, and we're going to score as well at 7.4 centimetres to give our Z. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see the two folds there. For our other strip, we're going to, again, score it at exactly the same spot. So we're going to score at 14.9, because that's halfway. And, well, it's halfway on the old piece, but, you know. And we're going to score again at 7.4. And I'll just put our trimmer away. Okay, now we've got our Z pieces. Okay, so we're going to fold them. I didn't bring my bone folder. It's on the other desk, so that's fine. We'll make do. Fold it in half. Fold it in half. Okay. And I'm not sure. Sometimes, you know how you get this little like lip? If you just do that with it, it has a tendency to go away. So that's one piece. Fold it in half. I would normally use my bone folder for that. The bone folder works way better, but saves me getting up. So I'm looking at that thinking, okay, it's got to go on that way. So it's all right, doesn't matter which way you fold it, but eventually we've got to make sure when we stick it together correct. There's my edge again. I'll just flatten her out. Okay, so I've got all of my pieces together for my actual card. Now I'm going to pop these aside, and I'm going to bring in my designer series paper. It's rather pretty, isn't it? I love this. This is the hand pen petals. And you know, it's funny, when I looked at it in the catalogue, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. When I got it in real life, I just wanted to stroke it. Okay, so we're going to cut, from this piece, we're going to cut a strip that is the full 12 by 12. It's normally a 12 by 12 piece. I've used the other half for a different project, another one of these cards. But we're going to cut 10.1 centimetres. And because I want to cut it in order, so I want my pictures to match. So I actually want to cut it so that I get the continuation of the picture. It's a bit hard to tell. There's not really, this piece here in the middle is actually bigger than the two, like bigger than this piece here, even though the space is the same size. The reason why that piece is bigger is so that this gap here doesn't look like it's too big. Okay, hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to cut this piece of designer series paper so that I end up with a little bit left at the end. So to cut my piece of paper, I will write all the measurements down on my blog post. I've actually got my instructions in front of me. So I'm going to cut a piece at 7 centimeters. That's my first piece. Then I'm going to cut a piece at 7.3 centimeters, and that allows for that little bit that I was telling you about. And then I'm going to cut a piece at 14.2 centimeters. And 1, 2. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of spare for another project. I don't know about you lot, but I like to keep all my little bits of designer series paper because sometimes you never know when you're going to need it just a little bit. And that's actually a really pretty piece. Okay, again, flatten out my top. So you're going to sit in there, you're going to sit in there, and you're going to sit in there. So all my pattern goes all in a line. See how my leaves match? I'm a fan of Tombow multi-purpose glue. We're going to stick this down. This glue, oops, too much. Less is best. If you put too much glue on it and get a big glob, you will end up with it coming out, squirting out the sides. When you press it down, because it's sort of, I don't know, what's a good word? Aussie slang, squelches out. Hold your tongue right while you do this bit so that everything ends up straight. And moving right along. Okay. This paper also has such pretty colours in it. I'm not really a florally, girly sort of person, but it really appeals to me. This one's going to be a thank you card because I love the thanks word in this. See how that gaps there? That still looks okay because it's a nice size. I'm thinking I might need to change the blade on my cutter if it's going to keep giving me a line. But I will also admit that this trimmer is really cool. It cuts more than one piece of designer series paper at a time. And I will admit that I was cutting probably 3. So I did get a little bit of a line. I don't get it when I only cut 1. And then that piece there is going to sit there. And there essentially we have the first part of our card already done. Okay, put that. I store mine upside down. I don't know about anybody else. I've got this little, I know someone printed a little thingy for me, but I store it upside down so because I really like the pointy end. Okay, now when this goes together, that is going to have to go like so. So that's where our white pieces are going to be, all on this side. So I've cut out my basic white already. I've actually got, this piece is actually for my flowers. I've got a piece that goes in here, and then 2 that are exactly the same, which are going to go here and here. Now, those pieces of basic white are they're all 7 centimeters. This one here is by 9.3, and these 2 are exactly the same, and they're by 6.4. Okay. The trick is to make sure they all are the same way for when we're stamping. Okay. All right, so I'll pull out my memento. I should have a mat underneath me, but I don't. This font is so pretty, isn't it? And it just comes up beautiful. So I've got my thanks ready for this one. Now, I don't know if you noticed with this card, you can't write on this pick because it doesn't sit flat. And I left it blank when I made it, but I'm actually going to stick. I'm going to stamp a flower on it, I'm thinking. So let me see, what have I got happening here? And I will put my mat underneath for the flower because the flower works better. And look, if you don't have a mat, that's fine. Magazine, Stampin' Up! Catalogue. Just put your paper on top of it to protect whatever you put underneath. All right. And I'll stamp my other flowers at the same time. This piece here, let me see. It's about 5 3/4 inches because I have got the wrong side of the piece of paper up by 2 3/4, and I'll get 2 on that. Okay. Bigger stamps, I have a tendency to stamp them up upside down. And I'm very good at putting my stamp back on the table upside down, so I just have to be a little bit careful in that respect. So if you wanted to stamp another sentiment like thanks, you're the best, or what else have we got in here? Anything is possible, congratulations, feel better friend. They don't really go, but if you wanted to stamp something else here, you could, just so that you've got something a little bit different in there, and then use your last piece for your sentence, like when you write to say, you know, thanks because you're wonderful, which I don't think we say often enough, and we definitely don't have a tendency to accept it from people very often. When they tell us something nice, we just need to say thanks or do something nice for us. It's always good to say thanks. Now you'll see I'll get 2 out of here. You're probably wondering why I'm doing 2. And just because I can is not really a very good excuse, but just because I can. I haven't decided what colour flower I want, is essentially why I'm doing 2. So I will do these first before I do that one, because I'm going to put that one in there as a different colour flower. Okay, so I've got to choose from Highland Heather, because that'll go with my cardstock, my Daffodil Delight, because it's one of my favourites, and the new Soft Succulent, because it's green and it's nice, and I do rather like a good green. So, thought I was missing a leaf. Okay, I will start with my leaves. And there's no hard and fast rules with the leaves. I do think that the little line in the texture, see that line bit? To me, it's, I don't know, I think that I'm stamping off here. I think that it's supposed to go over where that black line is, sort of. So that's just what I've had a tendency to do. But that one I didn't, but you know, hey, them's the breaks. If you don't have a piece of scrap paper and you're just wanting to, or keeping your paper clean, there's nothing stopping you stamping in there and doing, because I'm going to cover it up anyway. That one doesn't take up much space, but that's cool. All right, so the leaves on here are going to be still green, so we'll still do these. Oh, show you one thing, talk about it, do another. Can't have that sort of nonsense, can we? Now, that little one there, although the other one would fit perfectly, I don't want it to go on my petals. I'm just going to bodgy that one in there, and I might even bodgy that little one in there. Okay. And did them the opposite way round, but you know, hey, there's no rules as long as it, and do you know what the best thing is? Nobody knows what it looks like. And I am going to duck away just to grab one thing. So my voice has gone a long way away and now it's coming back. Because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but my craft room's huge, but I always forget something. I'm just picking up a little bit of ink with a blender pen. Because, now, Memento will run with the blender pen, so just be neurotic and be a little bit careful, just so you can add a bit of a line. Right, I'm not sure if you can see that, but all I've done, and I'm just drawing it on there first, is just running down the stem so the stem doesn't stay white. But yeah, the memento will run, so if you can avoid it a little bit, just run it straight, a line straight down the center. The stamp on this is a little bit like a watercolor. It's a bit washy, it's a bit messy, for want of a better word. So this does not have to be perfect, but you really don't want to hit your memento. Blender pens are great, even though that tip's stained. If it's coming out clear, then you know that it's clean. These are sold in sets of 3. They are great for making, if say something didn't stamp and you didn't use a Stamparatus and it won't go back in exactly the same spot, you can use this to touch up a little bit and nobody will know, be any of the wiser. So pop away my soft succulent, and I'm thinking, because of the way this is going to sit, I'm thinking I could either get away with a yellow daisy, because there's yellow daisies up here and here, or I could get away with a Daffodil Delight, or a Highland Heather, because I've got these other daisies. So both are going to work, and both look just as good as each other, is, if you ask me. Could even get a bit creative and paint a little bit in the flower center, but we won't. So I've got my 2 flower bits. You can sit up there, buddy. Okay. And again, this is going to need stamping off, because my ink pads, I don't know about yours, are super duper juicy. See, and they're a bit spotty, for want of a better word. So I'm just going to use the inside of this one. And the reason why I use the inside of that one instead of going over my soft succulent here is because that ink will transfer to my stamp and I'll get a green bit in the middle of my flower and it looks weird. So, okay, now it's a matter of figuring out which way round that goes. Not that it really matters, but that looks pretty good. Very pale, but that looks good. Oh, I do like that. Okay, so I am sitting on the Highland Heather side, so I think I'll go with Highland Heather. And I'm looking for my stamp cleaner, which is just miraculously going to appear in front of me because I know I put it on the table. So I'm thinking my chamois needs to go through the washing machine again. It's clean, but it's loved. Okay, and I'll just do this one while I'm here. Well, that was not part of the plan, but that's cool. Nothing happened. Okay, so let's do some Highland Heather to show you how pretty this one is. And we need a 3rd spot there. Yeah, she's a paper. Highland Heather is really, it's not that, this one's not as juicy. So I'm actually going to stamp it straight. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look glorious? I think that one's on for the win. Okay, get this baby lined up. Sweet as. Yeah. Ooh. Actually, no, Highland Heather it is. Okay, holding my tongue correctly. See, you can't do it wrong. It doesn't fit exactly, so you can't do it wrong. Because no matter what you do, it's not going to line up. Okay, put those guys aside. That's my middle bit. Stick some glue. You can use your seal. You can use any adhesive you've got. This is just my favorite. Multi-purpose glue gives you wiggle room, and I am a big fan. Oh, please tell me I've done this right. Oh, good. I am a big fan of wiggle room. what I was saying before, if you put too much on and it all squeezes out the side, this glue has some really cool properties. One of them is that it stays tacky. So you could then use that tacky bit to stick extra stuff on. In my experience, if you've got a bit of tacky glue along the side, it attracts dirt and everything gets stuck to it. So we'll just pop this a little bit here. So you can see, like, I've put quite a bit on, but I haven't, like, it's not thick, for want of a better, whoopsie. And this one's going to go on here. Okay. Now, so that's going to go there. Okay, so I've grabbed it like so, grabbed it like that to put it together. I'll take my foam mat out because I'm getting stuck. Okay, eyeball where I want it to land, because I want it in the middle. Grid paper comes in handy for this sort of thing. Okay, so what I did then was I held this piece down here so that I could just open this flat. Now, I know that I've really only got a small, probably, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares where I can put adhesive. So if I move you back, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I really can only put adhesive to that. I'm not going to put that much adhesive on. I will come down here a bit. This glue doesn't come undone. So, you know, sometimes you get a little bit of, oh, we got it. We don't want that nonsense. We want it straight. That's me talking too much. I normally talk with my hands and they're having trouble doing what they're supposed to do, which is sit still and hold things down. I would normally put just a little bit of this on, which is what I'm using, which is what I'm doing, because that it's going to hold. It's not going anywhere. You know, sometimes when you're using adhesive from other brands, what you may find is sometimes that you get, people are home. Sometimes that you get places where it peels as the adhesive ages. This one's not going anywhere. So I've just opened that right up, put all adhesive on the back of there and close her over. It's not going anywhere, and there I have the basis for my card. Okay, so now I just needed to put my flower, and I think I am going to go with that Highland Heather one. So I've got my little mini and the appropriate mats for it. I pulled out my die, sorry, my head's not with me. Got my little, these are all numbered and they all tell you what they actually tell you what they're for. Number 1 is used for everything. We need a base number of 2. I love this thing. It weighs barely anything. You're looking at about, I don't know, 3 inches, 3 and a bit inches, 3.5 inches there of cutting space. So I'm not sure if you can see this properly. Let me have sticky. Yep, you can. Okay. Line up my die. Yep, hold my tongue right. I don't know why, I just like to have all my numbers sitting on top of each other. Did you see it wiggle? How annoying. Okay, let's try again. Because I don't want it to hold my tongue straight. Okay. Gonna have to have serious words with it if it keeps doing that. Usually, if the camera's not on, I just do it and it's done. And Bob's your uncle type thing. push it to get it started. Wiggle it through, listen to it crunch and groan, and act like me, a little old lady with bits that just, you know, crunch and groan. Well, bodged that up. Let's try and do the yellow one, or the Daffodil Delight one. I didn't want to leave any of my memento here. Looks like this one's having a beautiful Daffodil Delight one on it, because I bodged that up. My plates have had a bit of use, so there's a little bit of concave behaviour happening here, so it's slipping a little bit. I could pull the new ones out, but you know, that would involve going to the drawer and doing it. Right. Force it into submission. Okay, let's try again. If you want it to be perfect and you want it to stay, you can put a little bit of washi tape on it. But again, it's in another drawer over there. So let's see. That looks better. Oh, look at that. How smick's that one? Guess what? This one's having a lovely Daffodil Delight card on it. Like flower on it. I mean, that Highland Heather one would look perfect. Never mind. Let's put some Daff on here. That one still looks good. I do like that. You can twist it, you can move it, you can wiggle it, you can add extra leaf. There's extra leaves in here, and they've all got, I'm not sure if you can see, they've all got little bits that pop out, so you can have like a skeleton, for want of a better word. You could add extra flowers. But I cut these in a separate colour as well, so you can actually put different colours inside them so that you can give yourself a two-tone leaf. There's another flower, all those sorts of things. It's a good little set, actually. I love this. Yeah, back onto what we were supposed to be doing. There's my dimensionals hiding on my messy desk. You know, it's funny, this desk started clean, but it's not now. Okay, and we'll pop up some dimensionals. I've got both the large and the smaller ones here, just so that I can use both of them. And I don't like things sagging, so I will use heaps, but that leaf's going to stick off a little bit. And we'll put that one there, and we'll put a little one here, just for a bit of variety, you know. These things are all over my house, the backs of these, because I don't put them straight in the bin. I just chuck them all over the table. They chase me everywhere. They even come to play. If I go away, I can find them in places where I've been, even if I haven't taken any crafting stuff with me. Put my flower on. Love the new gems. See how they've got all little bits of silver and gold glitter and stuff in them. They've got like a little texture to them. They colour in beautifully with the alcohol markers as well. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to just pop some of the paler green ones on. I'm going to stick a few of these in a few random spots. Now, look, see how that one's got heaps and heaps of glitter? I don't think that's going to work here. I want the paler ones. So I do get a bit picky as to which gems I use. And yeah, how glorious does that look? Now, I do like to do my envelopes as well. So the one for my sample has the same flower on it. Nice. However, I got a strip left and I got an envelope. And oh, that's rather convenient. My envelope fits. My strip fits onto my envelope. Now, because I've used those there as yellow or Daffodil Delight, I'm actually going to do it so that those ones there are on it. I could put them in the middle, but I don't like to waste designer series paper either. So I'll put a bit of glue on here because you don't want this to move. You want it to stay on, especially if you're putting it through the post. Australia Post is machines like to eat things. So we'll pop that on there. And again, hold my tongue correctly. that on there. I know I bought snips with it over with me. And then do a bit of fussy cutting. And we just go around the pretty envelope top. I need to speed up the video, but I won't, because if I can do this in real time, you'll see actually how long it takes to do, which is next to nothing. Takes me a little bit of scissors off my fingers for a really smick looking envelope. If you wanted to, you could stamp it, because, like, you know, that would look extra pretty on the corner there. I wouldn't stick that on there. I would just stamp it on there. What am I talking about? Let's just do it. And I haven't stuck my mat underneath, so I might regret it. No, that's not too bad. And we'll go with the daff. Let's clean that, because I have a sneaking suspicion that's still got some of Highland Heather on it. That's better. Sweet. And we'll just stamp that off. And again, hold my tongue correctly and do that. And do that. Let's pop some colour on some leaves. And I can get away probably just using the little one. So who's looking at this thinking she's going to stick her arm in that? I could feel it happening. Right. Oop, that's not the pen. And again, I've got my tongue held correct. There you go. How pretty does that look? Let me show you it all. How quiet's my family been? It's been so cool. So we've got one pretty card. Almost lays flat, but doesn't really. Folds up quite nicely. It's got a pretty envelope to go. And sweet, just to say thank you. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll pop all the measurements on my blog. You'll see the link at the bottom underneath the video, and you'll be able to find everything there. This is called a double Z fold card. They're lots of fun, and they use up nice amount of designer series paper, and you can make them for any occasion, really. Sweet. Cheers.